Hello, class. Here is chapter 7, part 3. We're continuing our look at social media and online use. Now, do you need social media to grow a business? The answer, of course, is it depends. It depends on your target audience. Are your primary users or people you want viewing your content people who go on social media a lot? If you're looking at an older audience, not necessarily. Or possibly you might need to only focus on one platform or two platforms and not on some of the newer ones like TikTok. Or maybe you actually need to focus on video oriented ones like TikTok or maybe an Instagram Live or YouTube or something based on how you are going to interact with your audience. You also want to look at your own ability to engage customers on social media. Do you have enough time right now to perform online, to be able to meet the needs of a social media campaign? You might also want to look at the type of business you're running. Are you running one where you would benefit a lot more from having face-to-face interactions? Or are you doing something where you're dependent on the internet and it's content where you need that social media base or where it would benefit you a lot to have one? If you are in that position where you do have something that is heavily dependent on internet interactions, you might consider maybe working more on a website or on your blog or something in and interacting on specific boards related to your business instead of kind of blasting things all over every type of social media platform. And of course, you can always review your competitors' analytics, see what they're doing. Does it seem like it's working for them? Does it seem like they're kind of wasting their time? You can use that as a gauge whenever you're figuring out whether or not you want to have a social media account and do social media campaigns. Now, there are, of course, tons of ways to promote without using social media. There's the original referral incentive. So if someone gives positive feedback online about your business, like on the whenever on Google reviews or Amazon or something, that's another way where it isn't technically social media, but you can say, hey, if you come to our shop today and buy something and offer us a review, we'll give you a 10% discount on your purchase or something like that. You can also reach out to traditional media professionals, or maybe there's a particular festival in your area where it would benefit you to have a booth or to create some sort of event with organizers. Those are all great ways to have a more traditional offline interaction with people. They get to see your face, they get to know your business and see how much effort you're putting into it. And that tends to make a big difference compared to just being another set of pictures they're scrolling through online. And of course, you can go with traditional flyers or billboards. You can attend conferences, depending on what kind of business you have. There are several different kinds, though, for a lot of different a lot of different businesses or organizations. You can network at conferences, and of course, if you find out there isn't one in your area, maybe you can reach out to other people in similar lines of work and say, hey, do you guys want to start our own conference? And maybe we can get people from surrounding areas to come over and introduce all of our work to the community. And there's also self-hosted content, of course, as we said, websites, blogs, and you can use those instead of Instagram or Twitter. You can have people set up on email marketing where They'll sign up on your website because they're interested in what you have, and you can send them daily or weekly sales ads, or you can send them maybe like little blog posts along with how-tos or information along with your regular promotions. And of course, maintaining business to business and business to person campaigns and relationships are great ways to develop that network and have a much stronger presence than if you solely rely on social media. Now, one other thing you can do and should do, especially, is make sure that your product speaks for itself. You want something that is going to be great. Uh, you know, ask your first few clients. Maybe they notice a few things that they might want to see improved on it, or maybe they have some things that they love about it that you can make even better. So work on your product first, or whatever your business is, and make sure that's really strong, and then push the marketing for it. You don't want to go out there with something kind of halfway made and suddenly you realize that everything is about to fall apart because you didn't finish really making your product and getting something solid out there. And of course, whenever you have personal interactions with clients, that's that business to business, business to person kind of relationship. You can have face-to-face events. Go directly to them, either in person or online or through those emails, and say, hey, do you see any ways that we can improve? Or what do you like about us? And of course, you can always add any kind of promotional discounts for people who do those kinds of surveys and things. You'll see that with a lot of larger businesses as well, where they'll say, oh, you can enter a sweepstakes if you do whatever. Well, it doesn't even have to be a sweepstakes. Sometimes people will go just to get that 10% off of something. And it's also a great way to make sure you keep having people in the door coming to check out your new products and looking for ways for you to improve those products. Now, an RSS feed, RSS stands for really simple syndication. And whenever what it is you're able to subscribe to a web page's latest publications, and it's an easy way to collect all of that content in a format where the user who has an RSS reader is able to say, okay, these are stories I like. I want to see more from this particular group. Or like if you want to have a daily news collection, for example, you could create a news RSS feed. And it's also a great way for a person who is running a website to make sure that all of their posts are actually reaching their entire audience who wants to stay informed, as opposed to with social media, where again, you're kind of trapped in are the algorithms going to, kick me off today? If someone isn't clicking on this enough, then they aren't going to see it anymore. Or if someone pays to have their post pushed a little more than mine, I might get bumped off of someone's home feed. You have all of those things to consider when you're primarily using social media and not using anything else. Now, RSS feeds automatically populate, and they can also be used with daily newsletters as well. So if you, let's say, subscribe to the AP newsletter, you can have that collected with a bunch of other news sources all in one place. It makes it a lot easier for you to view this information as a consumer, and also for people who want to see something you publish. If you have a business, they'll be able to look at it and and read it on their own and have all of it in one convenient place instead of them having to remember to go to your site or go to a blog or social media or whatever. Now, there are tons of different types of RSS readers. They've been around forever. One way, oh, yeah, one quick thing. So if you don't see the RSS icon, which is this little orange and white one here on the page, sometimes they're blue or other colors, but generally speaking, they'll look somewhat like this. If you don't see that icon, you can usually type in the homepage. So whatever, let's say it's for wired.com, it would be wired.com and then /feed or /RSS. And that will bring you to the RSS feed for Wired Magazine. Now, for readers, there are a lot of different ones. Some of them are available as apps on phones, and some of them are also available on desktop. You can kind of go through them. A lot of them now also, of course, have pay features and they have free features. It just kind of depends, and you can go through them and figure out what works best for you. I listed 3 here: Feedly, InnoReader, and NewsBlur. All of them are recommended by a few different websites. Try them out, see if you like it a little better than going on social media, or use both. You can actually send your social media feed to a reader as well, so you can actually collect that along with any newsletters or blog posts or websites, so everything is in one place and you don't have to click through a million different apps to find something. Now let's talk about the impact of online communication on people. Now, I'm primarily focusing on the mental health effects of online communication. There have been many studies over the decades regarding how Facebook or how Instagram or other social media sites impact a person's well-being. There was a 2013 study where the authors found that there was an increased feeling of loneliness by people who used Facebook a lot. They also had lower overall life satisfaction. I'm sure some of you have noticed before, whenever you're looking on Facebook or on Instagram, especially, I mean, they had a whole trend where where Instagram influencers started having the "I'm not perfect" post, because too many of them were showing such unrealistic versions of themselves or of their lives, and it was causing a lot of really negative feelings in the people viewing all of these posts, and in some of the posters too, honestly. And of course, there was also a study in 1998 talking about the internet's social impact and about how it's used so much for communication. And however, while there was an increase in online communication, the 1998 study found that there was a decline in household communication. So person to person interactions, which are so important to us as human beings, being able to actually think about how many additional signals you get whenever you meet someone in person compared to when you text them or call them, or even with video chat. A lot of people are noticing, and they're starting to have more studies about how different it is whenever you have a video chat compared to being in the same room with someone. You're able to get generally a more accurate feeling from them whenever you meet face to face. The 98 study did also find that there were smaller social circles with the same participants. So they started talking to fewer people they saw every day, as well as ones they might see weekly, like coworkers or people who attended their schools or different things. And there was, again, an increase in depression and loneliness despite the additional communication allowed by the internet. Now, it isn't all bad. There have been some studies where they showed positive links in active forum participation, some social network activity and social well-being was shown where people were actually getting the same kind of positive feedback they usually get from that person-to-person interaction because they were able to message and comment and like different things within a platform of their peers. They were able to see they weren't alone if they had a very niche interest and interact with these people that maybe they would not have ever met if they didn't have an internet connection. Now, there is also, of course, an increase in doom scrolling too, where you have that passive scrolling and you see just a bunch of negative content or something, maybe that, hyper perfectionism that causes those negative feelings for people. And that is that was shown still in the same study where they said active participation was doing well, passive participation was not. It was the reason that people were having negative feelings and starting to have lower self-esteem and depression and everything else. Now, one way you can combat mindless scrolling, of course, is by tracking your time online. Why should you track time? Well, honestly, a lot of people don't realize how much time they're spending on a site. I personally have used these before to see how much time I spend on Reddit or on Instagram. And I was shocked at how many hours I could easily spend on some of these websites or on my phone, just searching through random content on there. And this can also help you reduce dependency and reduce aimless scrolling. And by reducing the dependence on looking at things online, it frees up your mind to be able to interact with people in real life, to actually go out and do something, which I mean is still tough with all of the COVID restrictions, but you're able to have more peer interactions without feeling so tired or without having or be able to work on projects and things that you actually need to do because your brain isn't drained from looking at apps all day on your phone. And a few of the phone time tracking apps are Quality Time, Stay Focused, and an app called Forest. There are tons of different ones out there. The Forest one is one where you, after you complete your goal of focusing and not going on your phone for whatever time period you set, you'll grow like little trees and stuff. It's pretty cute. But Stay Focused and Quality Time also seem to work pretty well for helping people to regulate how much time they're spending on certain apps. And of course, they have similar ones for desktops and laptops, Clockify and Toggle. There are, I'm sure, some other ones out there. I've heard of Clockify for quite some time, and it seems like it would work pretty well for anyone who wants to regulate their online time on a desktop. Now, for today, go ahead, make sure that you log into your attendance. The social media quiz is due Sunday, and I am posting a 3-question quiz based on today's lecture and Wednesday's lecture. It is due Sunday. I am giving you the same due date for both of them. They are both due Sunday. Please go in and do them. And everything should be good. If you have any questions, please email me, and I will see you on Monday or Wednesday.